What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm talking about one from Netflix. It's called Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond. And this is a look at when Jim Carrey played Andy Kaufman in Man on the Moon. We had kind of all heard stories about him going like so deep into the method acting that like he ceased to exist and it was only Andy Kaufman and Tony Clifton present on the set, which caused all kinds of problems for a lot of people who didn't understand or had a difficult time tolerating that process. But we really didn't get a lot of information about it. Just some kind of like little things that almost made it seem like it was a kind of stunts to make it seem like, you know, to give it that Kaufman vibe. Like we heard a lot about the confrontations between Carrey and Jerry the King Lawler and stuff like that. But we really never got like the full story about it. And apparently Universal has been kind of suppressing this footage for almost 20 years. But Jim Carrey was followed through the entire production by Andy Kaufman's girlfriend and his friend Bob Zamuda, and they documented the entire process. And I guess Universal felt like it shouldn't come out because they were worried about how Jim Carrey would be perceived because he was acting in a very abrasive, they were just concerned how how it would make him look. This ends up being a really interesting movie about not just about him playing Andy Kaufman. You also get to learn a lot about Andy Kaufman. You get to learn a lot about the creative process and how movies are made. And I think that's of great interest to anybody who has a even casual interest in movies. But definitely getting a look inside the creative process of Jim Carrey is really interesting because we kind of think of him as being kind of a fluff performer, but there's actually a lot of depth to how he approaches things. And he puts a really like spiritual, almost like mystical outlook on a lot of things in life, which I certainly didn't expect. He also walks us through the production of Man on the Moon, how he got the role, how he was able to go so deeply into it, and then just some of his more interesting and memorable experiences he had while he was, deep into those characters. This is also a pretty in-depth look at Jim Carrey's career, chronicling, his family life, and then the years when he was struggling and when he finally got a break, and then his like meteoric rise, and then kind of, what his mindset is at now when he's pretty much done everything you can do in Hollywood, and how that whole journey has affected his creative process. It's a really interesting movie. Even if you're not interested in Man on the Moon, but you're interested in just the whole creative process, or how movies are made, or you're an Andy Kaufman fan, there's a lot of really good stuff in here. A lot of really great behind the scenes footage. It's really candid and open. This is not the kind of stuff you get in like normal EPKs or press junket tours. This is really interesting, insightful stuff. But obviously, if you're not interested in the behind the scenes stuff, or you're not interested in kind of the journey inside the creative process, then this might not be that interesting to you. Jim Carrey is featured prominently. He gives new interviews, but he is not, trying to make people laugh. He's giving a genuine insight into his mind and his life and his, the process he goes through as a performer. So don't come in expecting like a ton of laughs out of this. It does definitely have some humor, especially some dark humor at times, but it's mostly just a really interesting look at an interesting performance based on a really interesting guy. This one's on Netflix, so you can, if you've got Netflix, you can watch it for free. It just came out, so there's no Blu-ray or DVD even announced yet, but I have to think there probably will be at some point. So if you're interested in any of the stuff that I talked about, if you even have just the slightest interest in like the creative process or how movies are made, this is definitely check out Jim and Andy, The Great Beyond. It's a really fun, brisk watch. Thank you so much for watching this video. I did a full write-up of Jim and Andy at my website, markfusion.com. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, Twitch at markfusion if you want to follow me there. If you like these videos, please do drop a sub. I would greatly appreciate it. Every single sub is a great way to directly and cheaply, it's free, to support this channel and help me grow it and continue to produce content. Thank you so much for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. Hopefully I'll see you soon.